Well, hello, friends, and welcome back to GHK Radio Season 3, Episode 8. I did not have to check, definitely.
Wow,
I was, stop! It's not.
So 8,
Kai has picked up a new expression in his vocabulary, being adding j to the end of everything.
Listen, I think Mr. Salem Soul is a very good influence and a good
Fringe.
model figure for me to learn from.
No, when you guys both added the j just now, I wanted to, I fought back the words because I realized it was gonna come out of my mouth, and I realized it wasn't gonna make any sense. But I was just about to say it's not real, and I was like, that doesn't even make.
Trust me, it's very real.
It's so real.
Stop! No, I don't like it. I don't like it. It's not good. How have you guys been? Let's get away from the j. Let's move quickly along here.
I woke up 5 minutes ago, and I'm sure you can hear it in my voice.
Sure did.
Yeah.
Actually, you sound more awake now than you did 3 minutes ago.
I just had a sip of water, and it helps a lot.
Look at him go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a couple of weeks. That's what I'll say. 'Cause scheduling and stuff.
Yep.
We wound up shifting around the schedules a bit, and so we didn't have full confirmation that we would be recording this morning.
Yep.
But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be good, and I'm gonna get up anyways instead of sleeping in. And I'm so glad I did, because here we are.
Here we are. Episode 7 was a month ago.
I was just about to say, when was the last time we recorded? It has been quite a few weeks. Most of it's been my fault.
Well, I mean, you were feeling
I'm gonna
unwell.
blame Kai. Don't worry.
You lost your voice, J.
Stop! About to lose my voice again, bro.
Ah.
Don't like it. But yeah, I got laryngitis, and I lost my voice for a whole week. And then my voice came back, but I still can't talk for a long period of time without breaking into a fit of coughing. So there's that. And then just a lot of things fell on every weekend between last recording session and today. And we were almost not going to record today because my internet was about 3 weeks ago took a massive dump. Anyone who has seen my streams knows that I would open up a tab and the stream would go pixel. It was super awful.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
And I would do speed tests, and Kai was trying to help me, and he was like, "Can you do a speed test now? Can you do a speed test now?" And it was severely different. What?
We were doing more than just speed tests.
Well, no, but that because I did not know that a speed test just was a snapshot of the speed of your internet in that moment.
Yeah. I did make her do a lot while we were troubleshooting, but the way you said it made me sound like the most ignorant IT support ever. Just, hey, maybe you should try it now.
It's fast.
Maybe you should try it now. No, we were doing other things.
But
I did ask her for a speed test after each attempt at fixing.
The point, why I bring it up though, is because the difference in speed was significant. One time it would be over 200, and then one time it would be 1. I wish I were kidding, but it was.
It's rough,
So I called my internet provider, and they were I told them that it was on multiple devices, my smart TV, my phone, my laptop were all having internet speed consistency issues. Yeah. And for some reason, I don't know, she got fixated on the smart TV and was just can you disconnect it from your network? And then do a router reset, unplug it for 30 seconds, plug it back in, and then reconnect it to the whatever, the internet. And I was well, okay. She goes, well, did that fix it? And I was like, no. And why? It's not just the TV, it's all my devices. And she was like, well, I see here that there's a device that we provided for you that comes free with your service that you've never set up. And I was like, yeah, because I don't need it. And secondly, it's not. She was like, well, maybe if you set that up, it'll fix things. And I was like, it's been fine until 3 weeks ago. You can't tell me that setting something else up is going to fix the problem.
But are you sure? Maybe
it's
just not.
Yeah, maybe it's not, and maybe I know better. But I mean, I'm ignorant with technology anyway, so I just was like, ugh, whatever, and I hung up, and then that's when I went to Kai for all my problems, and then I called again later because I was getting real annoyed. Talked to another girl, and she was like, "Well, I'll set up an appointment to get a technician out there, because we want to make sure that you know, this problem gets solved." I was like, cool beans.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, the earliest that we can get a technician out will be Sunday morning at between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m.
Oh, no.
So that would have been overlapping with this recording.
Yeah,
exactly. And I was like, So I was
grunted at her.
I just barked at her. So that's why I contacted you guys, and I was like, listen, we may not even record today anyway. Turns out they mysteriously were able to fix the problem remotely.
Wow.
Because they were desperate, I think, to try and cancel the appointment. They were like, oh, we've fixed it remotely, so if the problem is solved, please cancel your appointment. And I was like, no, we're waiting until the problem is fixed for at least 24 hours. Because I don't want to have it fixed for an afternoon and then we cancel it and then all of a sudden I have to make a new one. So I was like, no, we're waiting. And then yesterday afternoon, they were like, well, is the problem solved? And I was like, yes, you don't have to come. So that means we're here to record. So, and everything seems to be going good so far. Like signing in, setting up, everything was real smooth. But yeah, so that's been like my recent trouble, along with laryngitis, along with other things. So it's just been a really hectic couple of weeks, and I don't like it.
Yeah, you've had a time.
I have had a time. Stop! Ah! Gross! Ew! My ears puked a little.
Oh, not the ear puke. That's just brains.
Ew, she's doing the dribbly.
Ew.
So what has been new with you guys? Any positive things to help brighten my day?
I ate a shoe yesterday.
That's awesome. Love that.
You ate a shoe?
It was a white chocolate high heel, dyed lavender with like candy sprinkles, like food glued onto it.
Huh.
In a bird cage.
Love
in
that.
A bird cage. Well, that's, you know what, that's important.
Yeah.
Being in a bird cage.
So, last year, certain Miss Girl DM took me to my very first high tea.
Yeah.
And it was an experience. And yesterday I went for my very second high tea.
I love that.
It wasn't as good.
Company was good. Let's clarify.
We went to it was with a different group of friends, and we went to a different location from the one that Girl DM took me to. And I don't know why I keep saying your name in full like that, in like a formal setting.
The formal girl,
the girl of
DM.
The Miss Girl of DM. And so it was a nice afternoon. I had fun with my friends, like chit-chatting, but the food was not as good as I remembered the place we went to.
Yeah.
How many high tea places are in the area? Are there like quite a few?
There are actually quite a few.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, like when we were talking, when our group, when we were looking we found like 3 or 4 places, I think.
Ooh,
yeah,
wow.
well, ones that didn't require like a far in advance reservation. Because a lot of high tea places, so for people that like don't know what high tea is it's like it's more of a lighter meal sort of situation that is various finger food style courses paired together with tea. Usually
you'll get like a savory plate with like 3 or 4 little quiches, sandwiches. They're all like little handheld bite sizes.
Oh. Yeah.
And then there's like a sweet plate, which is your desserts. They've got, little puddings. They've got little cakes.
Yeah.
Usually scones or scones.
Yes. Scones, and you get like clotted cream with them and such.
Yeah.
And, there's a whole bunch of stuff, and it's they're known for being more formal style. So most of the time, like most people that are going to be more dressed up. You're going to speak in more hushed tones with people, generally not super loud.
Honestly, love that.
Yeah, I love it too. And like a lot of them, the way that they're set up is you actually have to have a reservation in advance because a lot of places that do high tea only have it on the weekend.
I had
There
to
are
book
some
10 days
places
in
that
advance.
do it every single day. But yeah, I've been to high tea in Japan.
Ooh.
Wow.
And I've been to high tea in Seattle, and I've been to high tea in Toronto. I've been to high tea. Like I go anytime I go anywhere that I'm there for like at least a week or so, I try to see if I can go to high tea.
Oh, I
Wow.
love that. That's like your baseline experience, right? So that's like the one thing that you ensure that you have to do.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, I'm going to go to this like city. I want to see if they've got high tea. And a lot of like fancier, higher end hotels will also host high teas.
Don't you also, whenever you travel, look for a place that serves egg Benedict?
I do. I love eggs Benny, and then if it's like a longer trip and I know I'll have time to like go around and do stuff, I do high tea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because I do remember seeing a lot of tweets about eggs Benedict.
That's true.
Yes, I love eggs Benny.
It is
very
I'm
like
tasty,
searching where I live right now, and there's like afternoon tea at hotel.
Ooh.
And like it's high tea, like afternoon tea and high tea are both like very similar but separate.
Yes.
Similar but separate. And they're just like, it's just a nice, neat experience where you have like handcrafted stuff, you know?
I love that.
Pricey though.
Well, of course, anything that's going to involve like handcrafted effort is going to be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like the range we had yesterday, like the one we went to was maybe like mid-30s to $40 per person.
Mm-hmm.
For the set. Sadly, the food was kind of mid. But I think the most expensive one we saw was like you had to book like 3 weeks in advance, and it was $200 a person.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yep.
And it was
comes
like
to those
formal
types,
only, etc.
yeah,
etc.
that'd be like
Wow.
formal only, and then you also have to have like a lot of the times when it's one of those really fancy ones, there's a very limited menu, and it's very
uncompromising.
Yeah, it's handcrafted, very high tier fancy stuff. So
they only had like one tea set, so everyone had to get the same menu, and it was like they were super like the website was even like, we do not offer like vegetarian, vegan, dairy free, or gluten-free alternatives. It's like this is what we have, and this is what you're getting, kind of thing.
I don't know if that's great for their business though, like especially since so many people nowadays are looking for alternatives, and it's more common in restaurants now. Like to have an eatery that doesn't accommodate for that, I feel like would be shooting themselves in the foot.
Well, it's also got that air of pretentiousness to it, right?
Okay, I see. I guess I didn't think about that in particular.
It's
allergies are for peasants.
We don't accommodate the peons.
Why so weak?
Why you skim milk?
Actually, I have a quick question. Just going back to Eggs Benedict. That's a dish that I've always wanted to order, but I never knew if the hollandaise sauce had dairy in it or not.
Hollandaise sauce is it's like complicated mayonnaise. It's still egg. It's just like it's an egg sauce.
Okay.
It's usually
it's
egg
with butter, I think.
It's egg, lemon, and mustard.
Ooh. Okay, then
there is butter too.
There's butter.
Yeah,
I am fine with butter.
It's egg yolk, melted butter, and lemon juice.
Okay, I am fine with butter. I've experimented, and I am okay with butter.
Yeah, then yep, that's what it is. It has no dairy in it. It's just creams like that because of the emulsion.
Right. Okay.
I would say when you order, you might want to check though, because like some places they'll like add a little bit of this, add a bit of that, like mustard, Dijon mustard, pepper. So you might want to ask, do you add cream to your sauce?
No, you can't make hollandaise if you put cream in.
Oh, okay.
It just the emulsion doesn't work.
Then they'd be lying.
Lying.
No.
Liars.
No.
I'm sorry. You were asking DM something?
Oh, I was just gonna say that means if Girl DM and I ever go out for breakfast, we can get Eggs Benny together.
Yes, I will drag you to find Eggs Benedict, and we shall consume the Benedicted eggs together.
Yes.
That sounds like a lovely time.
No, it's not lovely with a j at the end. It's not lovely with a j.
I can't help but notice I wasn't invited though.
Yeah, you're not invited because you add j to the end.
We were asking before, like, why does DM hang out with you? Like,
Yeah, I've never got to hang out with DM.
Ask yourself, you should really ask yourself that, Kai, huh?
You went to high tea with DM. I didn't do squat with DM.
Yeah. We went to a castle together, Kai.
We did go to a castle together. We did Spy X Family episode 5 together.
What? We did. Yes, we did. And you're here being like, why would you spend time with Harune when I haven't? You've already like used up all the time.
Heck!
You've done a whole Spy Family episode.
Gotta renew my subscription.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. What about you, DM? Anything new for you?
Let's see. Oh, I got the fanciest air filter humidifier fan ever.
Ooh. Is it like a Dyson?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So I was having like random. So I never used to have allergies that were like that I could really notice that were related to my breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And then as things go on, I'm just like, for stuff. And so there was like a week that my eyes were watery and I was just constantly like runny nose, sneezy, could not blow my nose and get whatever was bothering me out or anything. So I was like, this is really frustrating and stupid. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know what it probably is? It's probably something with the air quality, because when the weather changes and it like gets warm and it gets cool and it gets warm and it gets cool and stuff, like all that stuff happens, it can release mold spores and make things difficult, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's worse for me in the spring when there's all the pollen.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's just like, So I was looking into researching and I was like, okay, I've kind of got limited space. I want it to be in my streaming room because that's where like I'm quote unquote working. Mm-hmm. So if I'm being interrupted from streaming because I am sneezing and coughing and various things happening, it sucks, right? So I was looking online and I was like, okay, well, a humidifier would be important because the air does get dry in here and I notice it. A fan would be nice because it gets warm and having some airflow helps reduce that with the computer in the room. Mm-hmm. And then an air filter would help it with the allergies.
True.
And I was looking and buying all 3 of these separate appliances. I was like, okay, that's going to require like 3 plugs. I'm already limited in plug space because there's a computer in here and all of my stuff is plugged into that.
And also space.
Space, yep. It's also that I have more limited space, so it's going to be rough with the space. And I was just like going through and everything. I was like, okay, let me see if there's like a combo unit. And of course, it's just like,
the Dyson.
And I was like, I sat on that for like 4 or 5 days while I'm still like having allergy issues, being like, because it's not cheap.
Right.
Dysons are not cheap at all.
They're definitely an investment.
Yeah, and so I was just like, okay, can I rationalize this? And then I finally got fed up enough with my allergies. I was like, this cannot continue.
This cannot stand.
I am suffering, and if exchanging money for goods fixes this, then fine. And so I've had it now for just about a week. Yeah, and it's so good.
Oh, that's great!
Wow,
it's so good. But to tell you how like how dry the air is here, it uses more like an evaporative type humidifier, and I've had to refill it 4 times.
Oh my god!
And it's like a large container one.
Like 4 times in what time span?
1 week.
Oy.
The air here is super duper dry, so I've just been like, yay. Prior to this, I was just like slowly making myself into jerky.
Yeah. That does explain it though, and that's great. Once again, like, you know, there's a weird, like, of course you don't want to overspend on something when there could be a cheaper but equally as effective equivalent. But at the same time, when it's like your health and it's affecting your work, you know, you almost want to invest in something that you know is going to work. And even if it's pricier, the idea is that you're paying for the quality.
Yeah. Like, and the fact that like it has a warranty and all those other things. I was like, okay.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. I just turned my humidifier on last night too because I was like, I may be dying, but I woke up with my throat like way scratchier and way drier than it has been in like the last 2 weeks. So I was like, what happened? But I don't know. Maybe that remains to be seen. But I think it is humidifier weather finally. Like, we've just had some super strange weather. I mean, we're all kind of in the same-ish area, Kai and I especially, so but it's just been like, this has been the weirdest February ever in terms of weather. Yeah. It's just been so bizarre and unusual. So we don't even our bodies don't even know what to do.
Right. I just saw that oh, my brain.
Not the brain.
Stop the
It's stalled. The brain stalled. No. I just saw that like yesterday it was snowing in California.
Yeah.
It is
like SoCal.
It is weird, yeah.
Snowing. I was like, wow, interesting.
Yeah, it snowed all Friday night into like early Saturday morning, and then by Saturday afternoon it all melted.
That's crazy.
But there was like inches of snow. Like, it wasn't just like a light powder. It was like my whole car was covered.
Quite a bit. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. And then it all melted by the afternoon. I was like, what's happening? What's going on?
You're just sitting here being like, huh.
Yeah, it's super weird. But glad to hear that you're feeling better with your new Dyson.
Yes, it's much better.
Dyson.
My Dyson.
But yeah, well, that was 21 minutes of preamble, but
we haven't even gotten to the topics yet.
It's just been so long, though. I wanted to catch up with you guys.
Oh,
yeah.
I miss you
that's
guys.
So sweet, Joe.
Stop it. Full crap, and I don't like it.
I'm not, and then Harune's just gonna be out here being like, wow, I am so glad that this is over with after we finish today's episode.
I miss talking with DM and Kai. Oh, I no longer miss talking with Kai.
Yeah. Only DM.
Only DM.
They're gonna get X Benedict without me.
Good.
Dude, if that's the most that we do, like, you have nothing to cry about.
I will cry. Goodness. See how hard I can cry.
Please don't. We're already low on bodily moisture. Like,
yeah, it's very dry.
Unless if you have a humidifier,
Kai.
just save your tears.
I don't have either. I don't have a dehumidifier. I can't tell the moisture in the air because I'm not a robot. So I don't know if I need either.
All right, well, let's just dry out Kai then.
But I went to my neighbor's apartment, and they have like 4 humidifiers in their living room. I'm like,
wait, why did you go to your neighbor's apartment?
They invited me over for dinner.
Oh, that's so nice.
Your neighbors talk to you?
Well, I mean, I say neighbor. They live like down the street from me, and they're like my high school friends. So.
Oh, okay. That's not your neighbors then. That's.
If it's in the neighborhood, it's a neighbor. It's fine.
It's. Wow, childhood friends get demoted to it's.
I mean, the dinner happened in the neighborhood. They also count as a neighbor.
All right, go off.
It's just go off. It's just a smidge different from like when you're living in a condo or an apartment. That's usually like the people right next door is considered your neighbor, or like across the street.
I've never seen anyone on my floor.
Yeah, that's what I was like. That's what I was thinking on stuff, but.
No, I went down the street to another building.
That ain't neighbors, yo.
Fairly close to my building.
That ain't neighbors, yo.
Nope.
It's in the neighborhood. What do you call someone in your neighborhood?
Then I say like the person down the street from me.
Yeah.
I don't say my neighbor because the assumption is
so
that it's
wordy.
Well, that's the English language for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because you say neighbor and then you get misconceptions like this.
Yep. My conceptions were missed here.
Speaking of, Kai, you've doomed yourself. You start today.
What?
You start today.
Okay, your turn.
Okay, I guess I bring the absurd today then.
Yes.
Speaking of absurd, when was the last time you guys went to the movie theater?
Or
the cinema.
A month ago.
The cinema.
What'd you watch?
Old Boy.
Ooh. Oh. I mean, Old Boy's the adaptation of the manga.
Yes.
Yes. Well, did you know that recently there was another movie that came out that is sort of a not really an adaptation, but a kind of rough retelling.
If you're going to talk about Cocaine Bear, I'm going to lose my mind.
I'm not going to talk about Cocaine Bear. It's the other bear movie.
Oh, the Winnie the Pooh horror movie?
Winnie the Pooh, Honey and Blood.
I've heard that one's horrible.
It's garbage!
It is very much... Or was it Blood and Honey? It was Blood and Honey. Sorry, not Honey and Blood. Blood and Honey. It is very much... think like early 90s B-grade slasher film. Except the killer's not CGI, literally just a dude in a Winnie the Pooh suit.
I mean, that's fine. Wait, is it one of those like self-aware ones or no?
I never watched it. I don't know.
So
because apparently it's only showing in 3 theaters in my city, and they only have 1 showing per week.
That's how bad it is.
Well, it's a British indie film, apparently.
Wow.
It's not like a big corpo film.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw a review for it from Moist Critical.
Oh goodness.
And
I saw that the thumbnail. I didn't watch the video though.
It's like the way it describes it is just so silly. So if you guys, I mean, it's Charlie is not for the infantile or the weak at heart. So if you're a child, don't listen to Moist Critical. But if you are an adult and not in a work or public setting, listen to the review. It's pretty entertaining. Like I found myself laughing, but the bottom line was that it was garbage. Pretty like they almost sort of like gave up in certain aspects. Like in some ways that like could have made it really good. They just, I don't know if it was like a
oversight
or if it was ineptitude from the director's fault or anything like that. But there were quite a few things that were like because he categorizes horror movies as in like fun bad.
Yeah, like I can enjoy movies that are like terrible but knows it's terrible.
Well, from what I did see in my modicum of research I did for this episode, apparently it was shot in England, East Sussex, in the Ashdown Forest, which is the actual inspiration for the 100 Acre Woods in the original book.
Oh, I love that.
Okay.
It was filmed in 10 days with a budget of under $100,000.
Was filmed in 10 days?
So it was a very low-cost production in a very quick time frame, and it has since grossed over $3 million.
All right, so regardless of how good or bad the movie is, they profited.
They did succeed in a box office sense, although it is being critically panned for just being bad.
Yeah, I mean, like The Room was also critically panned for being horrible.
Although, can we say that this movie's quote unquote success is just because it's taking from a beloved IP? Like, if it came out on its own with no ties to anything, would it do as well?
I mean, like, yeah, if it didn't have Winnie the Pooh, and then if it was just a slasher flick like Johnny the Turd, then yeah, I don't think people would go watch it nearly as much. But
yeah, I think a lot of it was just like the Winnie the Pooh thing, because the reason why they even were able to make Winnie the Pooh is because now Winnie the Pooh is in the public domain.
Yes, I heard that.
So it was more of an adventure in seeing what people were doing because they could use that imagery that everyone knows so well.
They should have just gone hard with it. If they were going to use something that like they knew were going to draw in a crowd, they should have cared a little more.
I think they didn't realize how much of a crowd I think they were probably, their mentality was tee-hee, just for giggles, like let's make this.
It does kind of feel like a YouTube skit blown up, doesn't it?
Well, now in 10 days, I can totally see that.
Yeah.
They were filmed with that limited amount of time. That's just ridiculous.
It kind of sounds like they did go hard on just a dumb idea someone had in their bedroom one day. But yeah, for anyone that cares to go watch the movie, I'm not going to spoil it per se, though I don't know how much there is to spoil exactly. But the synopsis is that, back in the day, Christopher Robin grew up with a bunch of his little stuffed animal friends in the 100 Acre Wood. But then they did the whole Toy Story thing where Christopher Robin grew up and went to college and left them alone.
Yeah.
And having been left to fend for themselves in the 100-acre woods, Pooh and friends all vowed revenge against Christopher Robin and his friends who one day came back to visit.
If anyone goes to see this movie or has seen it by the time of this episode's release, please share your non-spoiler thoughts in the comments. I want to know what you think.
Right?
I want
like this whole thing just screams like like it was made for social media. It was made to be like a YouTube skit. It was made to be like a TikTok funny. And then they just like, why don't we see how far we can go with it?
Mm-hmm.
They must have been funded by someone real rich to be able to put this in theaters. Because
they do have a distribution company and 2 production companies behind it.
It's, you know what I think probably happened? They probably got contacted by, because there was a lot of hype that was made, like the preview for it and the fact that they were making this went viral.
Mm-hmm.
So it's likely that they got contacted by a company that was like, hey, we'll put it into movie theaters.
Okay. And I guess that does answer another question that I had, because I was like, I knew about this movie coming to fruition for a really long time.
Yeah,
and to know that it's been filmed in only 10 days makes me wonder, well, then what were they doing this whole time?
Well, apparently it was originally going to be smaller and released in October 2022. But like DM said, because the trailers for it and all such, like they got viral recognition, that apparently they were, as you said, contacted by companies who wanted to make it a bigger thing. And that motivated reshoots to change it to a 2023 release.
So they actually had
to tack on some more stuff to it. They're like,
they should have
this
just
is our
kept
joke.
It to a...
Oh, now we have to make it a bigger joke.
Yeah, they should have just...
Well, they probably had just like the pressure of like things becoming more popular than they expected, right?
That's true. And I guess like you said, it did end up being a fairly big success box office wise. So
yeah,
I'm sure they're not losing any sleep over it.
Yep.
I don't know how I feel though, like, when you go to the movies and you go to see something, you ideally want it to have some level of quality standards, right? Because the price of the ticket, I don't think changes depending on the movie you're seeing, does it?
No, but it does change on the day.
That's true.
Tuesday tickets are incredibly cheap here.
Yes, weekday tickets.
Yep.
But still, like, so when you go to see a movie, and even if, and I guess like that's the thing with horror movies, is that I guess you kind of have to go in knowing that it's going to be hit or miss. But
yeah,
like, I don't know, to 10 days of filming worth my ticket money? I don't think so.
I don't know. I mean, like, I do know there are some films that were filmed in very, very short, like they've got very, very short filming periods.
But if there was like artistic reasons for it or something, or if it was like they wanted to capture something in a very limited period of time, and so they went hard for 10 days, you know what I mean? Like if it was like,
well, yeah, it's for like a lot of for this movie, I haven't checked like the credits or anything, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was like a bunch of younger people like who decided to do it together for fun, and they likely just didn't have a lot of time if they're like working jobs and stuff,
which once again is like totally fine.
Yeah,
but like then I don't know, there's a part of me that's in like, be aware, and if you're contacted by a company that's like, we want to turn this into a movie, there's got to be somewhere inside you that's like, this isn't movie worthy. Like,
I don't know.
Just leave it to the internet. I don't know.
Harune, if you have the opportunity to make, like, you get told, hey, this YouTube video that you're going to make, we're going to play it in front of a whole bunch of people.
I'd be like, that's what YouTube's for.
But there's no guarantee on YouTube. Like, this is guaranteed that you get a whole bunch of people seeing your stuff, and it could, like, make your dreams come true.
Then I don't know. That's... I mean, and you're right. Like, the situation is never as easy as...
Yeah.
Anyone can make it sound, but I mean, maybe you're right, and maybe it was done by a bunch of amateurs, and so they don't really know things like creating suspense. They don't know things, because that was like one of the things that Charlie sort of discusses in his review, is that like there was an attempt at creating suspense, but it was just like so poorly executed that it just seemed like a waste of time.
Yeah. Well, so they could also be the type of people that see something online or like a movie or something, go, hey, I can know how to do that. I could do that.
Oh, I could do that.
I could do that. Like,
watch, we just stand here for
Twitter. You see that on Twitter all the time, being like, oh, I could do better than that, and you're like, then do it.
Do it, see what happens.
So that could be it. They could have just been overconfident in what they had made.
That is also very true. And I mean, the box office speaks. They did well, even if the reviews are poopy, but people are paying to go see it. So I mean, at the bottom line, they did succeed. And I guess good for them, but I won't be wasting my money to go see it.
Harune out here being like, okay, when it's on a streaming platform, then maybe I'll put it on the background for 5 minutes before I turn it off.
Pretty much. You have no idea how true that statement is.
I had a quick look. I mean, like 10 days filming. Like there are a lot of movies made with like incredibly short
turnaround. Yeah.
Like short filming days, short production stage. Like, if we're talking like really famous movies, like Rocky, the original Rocky movie, was done in 28 days.
Oh wow!
And that's like international super famous movie.
Yeah. Now, oh gosh, what movie was it? It's a black and white movie. Oh gosh, it's a very famous one. There's an airplane in it. Oh god, what was it? It's like historical, like. Oh, does it start with an S? Famous.
Airplane, famous black and white movie. I don't know, because there are black and white movies.
Play it, Sam.
Play it, Sam.
That's one of the Casablanca.
Casablanca, yes.
Casablanca was filmed in like.
I had it up on my list a moment ago.
Yeah, the Casablanca was filmed like in a very short period of time as well.
Wow.
From what I remember.
I had it. I had it just a moment ago.
Casablanca was it doesn't have like direct.
Yeah, 2 months
listed.
2 months.
Yeah, less than 2 months.
Wow.
Although the shortest one I could find, Halloween was really short too. Halloween was 20 days. Little Shop of Horrors, another black and white film, I think it was. Little Shop of Horrors was filmed in 2 days.
Wow, 2 days?
Yeah. Oh, the Blair Witch Project.
Oh.
That was another short one, yeah.
It was done in 8 days.
I love that, though. No, the Blair Witch Project was genius because it didn't pretend to be a high-quality film. Like, it was just a camcorder, we're running around doing stuff.
Was that the one that, like, really kicked off the found footage
Yeah, that's
genre?
what kicked off the whole found footage genre, and then Blair Witch kept on going and going and going and going. And there's a video game for it, too, I think, right?
Yeah, there's so much to it. It just, they kept, man...
See, maybe that's what people were hoping for. Maybe that's what they were hoping for. They were like, we could be the next Blair Witch.
Oh, God, it's going to be like the next, like, Five Nights at Freddy's thing.
Oh, they're making a Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
Why am I not surprised?
Have you seen, like, the set photos actually look pretty cool. They've made, like, a Freddy Fazbear's.
I'm going to be honest, I stopped caring about that series after, like, 2.
I actually really like the lore a lot. I've watched almost all of the lore theory videos on it because I find it really interesting.
I watched a lot of people play 1. I watched some people play 2. I stopped caring. I watched Harune play whichever one it was that she played.
I have no idea, but I hated it. It was so frightening, and I was just like anxious and on the verge of tears the whole time.
It was the one where you were roaming around the arcade as the little like child, and then you had to climb.
That's Security Breach, where you're in the shopping mall.
And then it was like there was the rockabilly Freddy that you climbed into his like.
That's a fun time. No, was it fun? Whatever. I like that Freddy. He's so nice to you.
He's very nice.
His voice actor voices like a terrifying character from League of Legends.
Wow.
So the same voice for Freddy in Security Breach is Kellen Goff, and he voices Fiddlesticks in League of Legends.
Does Fiddle?
I love Fiddlesticks.
And Fiddlesticks is like this eldritch being of fear that like speaks in rasps and can read your like deepest fears and will imitate the voices of your loved ones from those fears.
He is so strong in TFT. I love him.
You're my superstar. Same person.
I always, because I don't play League, I've just seen like friends and family play. Whenever I see Fiddle, I always thought he was a scarecrow.
He does. He does have that aesthetic.
But he's so cute. I love him. I love him very much. I love eldritch horrors.
I just love in TFT that he basically starts the fight asleep.
Yeah,
and then once he wakes up, he just goes.
He just screams and runs around the map while like draining people.
It's great.
His lore video is quite terrifying too, but the fact that like listening to that and being like, wow, that's Freddy Fazbear. Like this is nice guy Freddy Fazbear.
I'll have to watch his lore video now.
Yeah.
Now I want to see.
Yeah, you want to see it.
Getting her into it.
Yep.
I won't be playing League though.
TFT.
Don't worry, keep it far away.
Nope, not TFT. We just finished Arcane for anime night.
Oh yeah, how'd you like it?
Loved it. Was amazing. But Ouya at the very end was like, if you don't play League, don't start now. Like, don't start just because of Arcane. And I was like, I wasn't even considering it, so don't worry, it's fine.
I only saw the last 3 episodes. I missed the first 2 anime nights.
Oh my god, it's so good.
So I know how it ends. I don't know how it begins.
One of the characters in it is actually like, he is going to be one of my favorite champs.
What do you mean?
So there's the cool dad guy. Like this is knowledge that you can find on. It's actually in the subtitles. It leaks that that's him. But the cool old dad guy,
like from
that runs the bar.
Oh yeah.
He winds up becoming Warwick.
Oh,
who is the werewolf guy?
Wait, really?
That's him. Yeah.
What?
I didn't even see that episode. I didn't know he was a thing.
It is common knowledge within the League community. Like everyone's like,
it's
okay,
not a spoiler.
that's Warwick. It's not like a spoiler on stuff. It's not like that, but it's definitely like if you're not well versed on the League of Legends lore, it's definitely like, oh my god, what? So that's why I'm really excited for season 2 of Arcane, because I'm really hoping that they're gonna have like Warwick times, because I love Warwick and I just want him. I want him back.
I mean, like, I'm not super deep into the lore, but even though I knew like some things, like going in, I knew Victor as he is and Victor as he's gonna be, kind of thing.
Yeah, are 2 different people, right?
Yeah.
And then there's another character that was teased slightly, because you have the mad scientist guy, right?
Yeah.
And he has the rat.
Yeah,
that is Singed, and he has the rat that's inside the cage with the cat.
Yep.
And he gives it the stuff. That rat is Twitch.
Yep.
Who is one of the champions in League.
Wow, there's a lot more that I had no clue about.
There's a bunch of stuff that's just like slightly hidden on things.
Wow.
But gosh,
also go ahead.
No, I just enjoy the lore a lot.
I know this is going off on a little bit of a tangent, but it's just speaking of things that are like alluded to in shows that, you know, have like a video game origin. I've been watching The Last of Us.
Oh yeah,
and it's been great. I've really enjoyed it. I cry like every episode. But I noticed that they're like, because I never played the game and I never saw like gameplay, like playthroughs. So I don't know a lot of stuff, but it was kind of fun. And it almost gave me just like a smidge of like, oh, well, maybe I should like watch some gameplay. Because even when the trailers were coming out, people were like, oh my god, like Henry or was it Henry? I don't remember.
Ellie and
Ellie.
Ellie
and Joel.
I know, like, I only know the basic names of the characters because I don't know anything about the series either.
Ellie and Joel.
No, well, I know their names, but there were 2 side characters that they had their episode was like 2 episodes ago. 2 or 3 episodes ago, and that was like really tragic and sad. But people were like, they saw them in the trailer and they're like, oh my god, like we know how this ends and we are sad.
Get ready to cry.
Exactly. And I was like, just panicked the whole time because I was like, oh my god, is this gonna be sad? Like, will I need tissue? Like, I just like went in not knowing anything.
Did you need tissue?
Oh my god, I like disgusting cried, and it was like 2 episodes in a row, maybe like 3 episodes in a row, just nasty crying all over the place. There was one in particular that I like real nasty cried, and if you guys have seen it, you'll know. But
I have not seen it yet. I've had multiple people message me and be like, "Watch The Last of Us," and I'm like, "I'll get there eventually, guys.
Yeah,
Just give me a minute."
Yeah, no rush. When you get to it, you will. I mean, enjoy it on your own time. Don't feel forced into it, or else you're not gonna enjoy it as much. But I love Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, I do too.
Yes.
I also love. Now I don't know her name, but I love the actress who plays Ellie. She did.
She was in Game of Thrones.
Yes, she was
like the badass girl that's in the Northern Only.
Bella Ramsey.
Yes, Bella Ramsey.
I love her.
Yeah, she was an amazing character in Game of Thrones. I really enjoyed her character, and her last scene in that series was also equally amazing. So
good.
I mean, really cemented herself, I think, in HBO film work. So, but just like hearing from people and talking to people who like know like origin story and lore has actually really made me nervous when it comes to like watching the shows. It happened with Arcane, and well, not so much. I mean, it's happening now, right? With Arcane, where I'm like, oh my god, there's so many things that I missed that I didn't even know like I would have to keep an eye out for.
Right.
And then the Twitter with oh my god, I almost said Game of Thrones. With Last of Us, I've just been like, I'm kind of like scared of the internet. I'm like, I don't want to be spoiled, but also like other things that I should know.
But you want to know, right?
Yes.
Like, for me, usually, like I'll use because I think I've rewatched Arcane 3 times now.
Oh wow.
Because the animation is absolutely gorgeous.
It's true.
I will need to rewatch it at some point because I've only seen the last 3 episodes, and now I'm kind of like, okay, no, maybe I should watch this. Maybe
it's really, really well done. I think it's probably one of the top like video game adaptation shows has been done because
because like at the time when it came out, like I'm not a huge League of Legends guy. Like I played TFT, and I was able to talk with you about like the leagues, like what's the Worlds?
Worlds. And
we did talk about Worlds like a few episodes ago. But it was like I wasn't super into it, and it was like the thing that was like overhyped. It was like it was hyped to hell and back.
I agree.
I have the same issue with Bocchi the Rock in that like it kind of turned me off from watching them because I'm like everyone's talking about it, so I haven't watched Bocchi the Rock either.
No, that's exactly. If it's over recommended to me, I won't watch it.
Exactly. So I haven't watched Arcane, but now I'm like, oh, maybe I should watch it.
Which is like when people ask me and because I've had people ask me like, is Arcane worth watching or whatever? Because like they'll be like, I don't play League or whatever, and I think it's a very solid series. So like if people ask me, I'm like, you know what, the animation techniques that they developed for it and the like story and everything, there's a lot of heart in it, so I do recommend it is how I usually present it, because otherwise like if you get just the hype train of Twitter sorts of things, it's good, don't ask questions, it's good, it's just like I want to ask questions.
Exactly. The same thing happened to me with Edge Runners. When Edge Runner came out, like there was quite a long time where I didn't watch it, and then one day I got bored and the hype died down. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll give it a chance. And I watched the 10 episodes of Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Yes.
And I bought the game while the ending credits rolled of episode 10. I was like, wait, this is really good.
So, Harune, have you seen Edge Runners?
She has not.
No, but I've been wanting to.
It's quite good. I'm going to this one isn't. I'm not going to give enough detail on it, but there is. So in the actual Cyberpunk game, there's
I know what you're talking about. Yes,
there's a bar in the game, and it has drinks that are named after people who have died.
Oh,
in some kind of legendary fashion, essentially.
You have to be a living legend that ends up no longer living. That's how it works.
And that's how it works. I don't remember the name of the bar, but it's like
The
that's
afterlife.
the afterlife. Yeah, it's the afterlife. So of course, like all the drinks are named after like legends that have passed on or whatever.
That's actually
and there's,
so cool.
Yeah, and like a decent chunk of time before the anime actually came out, there was an update and a drink was added to the bar. And so people that know cyberpunk and such like kind of keyed in on this.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they were watching the anime and they saw that character appear, they were like,
we know what's going to happen to you.
I know where this is going with this character, but I would like to see what happens with like this person in regards to this story.
Oh, how cool.
It was just quite cool, right?
It's like because their name appeared in the bar before they appeared, like before the show started.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a given, the fact that they made it into the bar's list of drinks.
Right.
Yeah.
Their death is going to be spectacular.
Yeah,
oh
and you're just like, you don't know when it's going to happen in the series, but you know that it is going to come, and you're just like, oh. So like some people went in knowing that like this character, something's going to happen.
The
so I won't clarify which character it is.
Exactly.
Because
I'm trying not to spoil.
There's a wide number of characters in Cyberpunk, and so it's really cool.
But I think the same thing happened with a lot of people, like it happened to me, whereas like immediately after I bought the game, because like I think that one show made the game like from a critical failure to like a critical success.
Wow. I think what it did was it adjusted people's
mindset.
So Cyberpunk, and Cyberpunk had a very rough start because they overpromised and then it was a buggy mess, right?
It's still not completely 100%. There's still problems with it, but
it's done a lot better, and it also kind of established to people that it's not so much following an overall arcing narrative, but it's more that you have multiple, like, you have multiple narratives happening at the same time, and it's more of like an appreciation of the world as opposed to following a story.
That I can get behind too. That's really, I like that concept. Because I used to get so attached to characters and I'd be like, why aren't they here in every season and every moment and every iteration of the genre, right? But if it's like, just appreciate the world and what can happen in it.
Yeah.
That's like a new, it's a refreshing way to enjoy a world.
Yep.
In my opinion. But yeah. A show that I haven't heard any hype about and that I've personally enjoyed has actually been The Legend of Vox Machina.
I've heard a lot of hype on that. I haven't watched it yet.
Really?
I've seen
no one I know has watched this show besides like one other person, and so I just like talk to them about it, and I'm like, does anyone else?
I have multiple friends that are into like
Critical Role.
Critical Role, yeah.
See, and I don't like Critical Role. Like I think their campaigns are boring.
Can I make a confession?
You may.
What?
I only saw like a little like the title of a YouTube video, like clip of that show.
Yeah.
It's just suddenly appeared on my recommendations thing. I straight up thought they just made an anime of the Niji Sanji guy, Vox Akuma.
Oh no!
And I disregarded it entirely, but then like I clicked it, and then it was like it looked very D&D-esque. I'm like, oh, I guess the Niji boys are playing D&D or something.
Oh my god,
no.
you fool!
You fool. See, what I saw for it was comparisons showing like when something happened in their D&D campaign and how it was animated, which I thought was really, really cool because essentially it's a D&D campaign that got kickstarted and made into an animated series. Which I think is like super neat because there's some really cool stuff that happens when like if you're playing D&D, there's some really cool stuff that happens, but you're all just imagining it in your heads. It's make-believe style. And if you have people come in and they're not familiar with D&D, they're just be like, you just talked about like swinging your sword and then you gasped because you rolled the dice.
That reminds me of a much older series. Have any of you heard of Record of the Lotus Wars?
No.
I have heard of it. I have not seen it. I know it's one of like the classic anime.
It is a classic anime that was based off of a tabletop RPG campaign that the author was part of.
Oh, cool.
And it became like a big franchise.
There's actually a whole bunch of stuff that's kind of like similar. So if you know the Forgotten Realms novels, like the fantasy novels, those are all based off of like D&D campaigns.
Oh, you said Forgotten Realms and my blood ran cold for just a second because, like, so the D&D campaign that I've been listening to that I love and is much more looser with the rules than campaigns like Critical Role. I've talked about it before, but Dungeons and Daddies, and their first season took place in the Forgotten Realms, and I was like, that's the only time I'd ever heard of it. And I was like, when you said that, I was like, oh no, is there some unknown plagiarism going on? But no, it's fine.
That's actually, so the Forgotten Realms is actually this like established world that was using like original D&D like levels of stuff. So the locations and the characters and like the places and what's like important there was like based off of playing tabletop with those authors putting stuff together.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. But back to what you were saying, DM, about like seeing like roles and their outcomes in an animated form. There is one point, especially in, I mean, there you see it sprinkled throughout the show, but like there's one point in season 1 where they're trying to execute like a multifaceted plan where like one group does one thing and another group does another, and I don't want to spoil because I feel like it takes away the humor, but like you can see with such clarity, probably more than any other time in the show, like where all of a sudden almost every person in the second group was just getting crap rolls and like nothing was happening, and like they were like trying different things and like could not do like the simplest. I like belly laughed. I thought it was so funny.
Because like sometimes in D&D that just happens. Like you're like, this will be simple. I roll critical fail, and your friend's like, oh, that'll be fine. I'll do it instead. They roll super low roll. It doesn't work, and you're just like, oh, man.
Yeah, can I help them with this roll? And then you both roll badly, and you're like, what?
Yep.
But
wait, have either of you? Do either of you like play D&D?
I've done a couple campaigns.
Okay.
I'm just starting Pathfinder soon.
Ooh. Wow. Yeah, like this talk just suddenly reminded me of like, oh my god, all the critical fails I've had playing like D&D, and the death of my characters. Every character I've ever made died in the stupidest of ways. But I'm like, do I really want to get into that? Because that's going to be like that can be hours of discussion.
Can take hours. Yeah.
I'm just like, ooh, maybe that'll be my topic next week.
That would actually be fun if we did like a themed episode where we all just like come in talking about something D&D related or something. That could be really fun.
We can consider that for episode 9, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. But before we deep dive into that tangent, why don't we have another topic for today?
Yeah. Do you mind if I go next, DM? Mine'll be pretty quick.
Go ahead. Yeah, go.
So, as you know, I tend to be a little bit more research based. I just find topics that like personally I'm interested in or I find fairly fascinating, and then I just come and share it with you guys. So this one's short. The title of this one is called Archaeologists Have Discovered an Ancient Fort Complete with Wooden Spikes Built by the Romans to Protect Their Silver Mines.
Ooh.
So
wow.
I think the interesting part about this is fairly multifaceted. First off, so this article was written February 22nd, 2023. So in
relatively recent.
Right. Yeah. So like for us, like today's of the day of recording, it is the 26th of February. Yeah. So this was only a few days ago. So the initial like interest just based on the title is the fact that they found this, structure of wooden spikes. So like essentially it's kind of like an early version of like barbed wire fencing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right. So that's like the first part of the interest. And then there's something about it like in the second half that's like, oh no. So let me just read this real quick. So it says like for the first time, archaeologists have discovered wooden defenses surrounding an ancient Roman military base. The fence, topped with sharpened wooden stakes akin to today's barbed wire, is the kind of fortification known to have existed from ancient writings, including by Caesar, but no surviving examples had previously been found. So they knew that they did this. This wasn't like a new thing that they're like,
discovery.
Wow, we didn't. Right. They were like, oh, we had no idea the Romans did this. It's been written about, so they've been aware of it, but they've never seen like a real example of it. So finding it had been really enlightening in that way. And this was found in the town of Bad Ems in Rhineland, Palatinate, Germany. So they found this in Germany. Excavations were started after a local hunter by the name of Jürgen Eigenbrod. I love that name.
Wow, that is a name.
That is a name.
Jürgen.
Eigenbrod.
Noticed faint markings on the ground in a field in 2016. The differences in color in sections of the grain, it turned out, were caused by the remnants of ditches dug by the Romans. So there is like an image of an aerial view, and you can look at this and be like, whoa, well, what the hoo-ha is this? So let me just here, I'll send a screenshot of it in chat so you guys have something to look at. And you can describe what you see to the listeners.
Ooh.
Okay. Okay, so I'm guessing the diagonal line there is just telephone wire.
Which
yes,
diagonal
there
line?
is the
ones,
white lines. Yes.
Oh yes,
the
that's
ones that go from
yes.
1 o'clock to 7 o'clock.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, the
But
vertical.
You can see the vertical tracts and the one curvy tract too.
Yeah, I think the curvy one is probably what was what gained interest. Right? Because if you think about it, they said it was to protect, or I'm sorry, the change in color was because of dug ditches.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that would be. It's just so interesting to like see it aerially.
Yeah.
Because what was this local hunter doing that they could see this? That he could see this from above, or was he just walking around and being like, "This ground's a different color"? Like
I was kind of like, this is weird. I mean, if it was like, when was this announced? Like,
so
when did
this guy found the difference in color odd and interesting. He found this on the ground in a field in 2016.
Because he could have been using like a drone to try to figure out where he like. I know some hunters that do use drones to like identify where what they want to hunt is at, so that they can be more efficient instead of like looking for tracks all the time.
And like, I don't hunt per se, but I do know that hunters like forest trails and stuff, like the different decoloration of grass is like where animals would walk. So it would make sense for a hunter to pay attention to this kind of like change in the color. Because it could be like, is this an animal path?
Right. And he's probably looking at this and being like, why did they go round? Like, why did they go wide? This seems
and it's very even. Like, it's very straight. It doesn't look natural. It looks like somebody manufactured it.
Yeah. Yeah. It almost looks like, you know, those like Hot Wheels assemble it yourself, like little race
a little bit.
tracks?
It looked like, you could have told me they were like tractor tracks on like a farming field, and I would have believed you.
Yeah.
It looks like two straight lines, like wheels, and then like just the tractor taking a turn.
Yes. But apparently this was beneath the dirt. And then when they excavated that picture beneath it are the spikes, the wooden spikes, which is amazing that like, because I would have assumed that wood would have decomposed over time, especially this long, but they look pretty good. Like, those spikes are clearly defined.
Yeah.
So
they probably are like, depending on how old they are, like maybe starting fossilization, right?
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Because petrified wood is a thing.
It is a thing. Although I thought it was like fairly rare for wood to.
I've got chunks of petrified wood. I don't know how rare it is if I can get my hands on it.
Sheesh.
You are the girl of DM though.
So of course you would have access to petrified wood.
Of course I would. Sorry, I forgot that this is a given my notoriety. Of course.
Your noble stature.
You have a penchant for having your
petrified wood.
Yeah.
the lady of House DM.
True.
Oh,
lady that when the peasants visit me, they gift me with trinkets of petrified wood.
That's your demand. I demand
it is.
Petrified wood.
Please gift me the wood.
So a little bit about these ditches and the spikes and why it was even there to begin with. So it says, it appears that the ancient Romans were tunneling into the earth, searching for deposits of silver.
Oh.
At first, archaeologists believed that fire remains and melted slag were evidence that the Romans had set up a smelting work to process the silver ore. But the writings of the ancient historian Tacitus, or Tacitus, I'm not sure if the C is pronounced as an S, reveal that the Roman governor Quirtus Rufus's effort to mine silver in the area failed in the year of 47 AD.
Wow.
Wow.
Yes, so they...
That's pretty old.
Stop it! Stop it! Expecting untold riches, the Romans had set up a heavily fortified base manned by military troops, which explains the barbed wire-like defenses meant to deter sudden raids. So it wasn't a military camp per se, it was a silver mining expedition, and thinking that they were going to strike gold or strike silver, they had set up defenses just to protect whatever that they were going to find. Unfortunately for them, a rich vein of the precious metal would not be unearthed in the area until millennia later, during archaeological excavations in 1897. There was enough silver there that Romans could have continued mining operations for 2 centuries if they had only kept digging.
Oh, that's so unfortunate.
So they
It's
just
like that.
so
Oh my god!
sad.
It's like that one meme of the guy. He's like mining, and then like turns around, and like after another inch of dirt is the diamonds.
Yes!
Yeah, dang, that's so unfortunate.
They could have kept this up for 2 centuries.
Man.
But nope. And it says the remains of the ancient fire that they originally thought was like for the smelting came from a watchtower, not a profitable smelting works. So
Oh no. That is so sad.
So they could have done it if they had just kept going.
A little bit more perseverance. It's just like, oh, that's super unfortunate.
But you also, that's got to be kind of like how gamblers feel. So
Yeah.
they're like, oh, just one more. This time I'll get it, you know? Like, when do you know when to call it quits? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So at some point they just, I mean, I'm sure not for a lack of want, but just at some point they were like, we've spent too much money with too little results. We're just gonna have to call it quits. And it was just a little bit more.
Yup.
You were almost there.
Just a tad more, a touch more.
Just a touch. So that's the disappointing conclusion to this interesting archaeological find. But I mean, it's cool for us in this modern day.
Yeah.
But unfortunate for them that they...
Sucks to suck.
It sure does. It do be like that sometimes.
They really do.
But yeah, that's my only topic that I had to bring to the table. I just thought, I mean,
like it.
It's
That's
funny.
A good topic.
Yeah, it's just funny to like see ancient fails, I guess. For
Hindsight, Captain Hindsight.
yeah, thank you, Captain Hindsight. But yeah, it's funny to see that like some military and government works can fail even then and fail spectacularly.
Yeah.
And just be like, oh, but just a little. You coulda. I wonder if there will be any things where, like, centuries from now, people look back and they're like, man, people in the 2020s were real stupid. Like, they could have, if they had just done just a little more, or if they had just continued in this direction just a smidge.
Yeah, right?
Things would have been so much better for them.
I think they're gonna look back at the metaverse and think that exact thing.
Probably. You're like, what was this?
Wow, they were on the precipice of greatness.
Yeah. Oh, that's a thought. But yeah, what do you got? I'm starting to cough now, so I'll hand it over to DM.
Oh, goodness. Yay.
It's okay, I'll take a sip of my coffee.
You know what? I was lamenting. Lamenting, yes. That, so it's hard to find arcades in North America, like video game arcades, like to
yes,
the level that they were in Japan. And I know people are going to be like, but in Japan, they're closing down arcades. I feel like a lot of that was due to COVID because like people weren't going anymore and they didn't really have a way to profit
Right.
They closed the Sega arcades.
It's reopening though.
Oh,
they're
good.
reopening the Sega arcades.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine now.
Please be open by May.
One of the things that I was like arguing a bit is that I wish that the more like having little centralized areas that are easy for people to get to, which is why like arcades work in other countries, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was like, if I could take something from a different country and put it into my country, it would be like how some of the stuff is organized just so that I can have video game arcades. So what's something that you saw like set up somewhere else that you just isn't like local to you or anything that you wish was like a thing?
I think oh my gosh, excuse me. I think it's probably a little bit more international than I'm aware of. But at least around where I live, I don't see it often enough, and my only exposure to it was when I went to Taiwan. But server buttons, like when you can call your server over.
Yeah, you hit the button to summon the staff.
Yes, like that seems genius. Like, why have someone keep walking over and like wasting their time constantly just to make sure that you're okay? Like, just hit the button. Like, I think that's genius. I don't know why that hasn't cemented itself more in Western culture. Like, you'll still be tipped, I promise.
Japan. They have those in Japan too, and they were so good because you just like you'd get seated. They give you the menus. When you want to get your drink, bing bong, you hit the button. The staff member comes over and says, "Yeah, we'd like to get our drinks." Oh, do you want to order your food yet? Oh, we're not ready for it yet. Okay, here's your drinks. Like,
I grew up in a very Asian neighborhood. So we actually do have a lot where I'm from. We do have that a lot for a lot of like the Japanese restaurants.
Mr. Kai showing off.
There's the problem with that.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with that.
Yeah.
Everybody does the ding dong at the same time, and they'll just end up like they should have a system in the back showing who ding donged when.
Right.
The human staff don't really follow that list. It's like flagging down a waiter, and if they hit up another table, they'll instantly forget about you, and then they'll move on to do something else, and then you have to like ding dong again. So it's like
the implementation is part of the problem.
Yes, it's convenient that you don't have to sit there with your arm raised like a butthole for like 20 minutes,
or try to make like eye contact and be like, hi.
Yeah, like you could ding dong, and if no one comes in like a couple minutes, you can ding dong again. But it's like even then, like I see it around a lot. I feel like you need the cultural system of having it. People to actually be used to having it.
Yeah.
I feel like it was something added on here for the Canadian restaurants.
I feel like it needs to be like just implemented better. Well, that's one of the other things that I've found as well. Because like I went into a store the other day. And I wanted to pay with cash, but it was only they use the self-checks, and those are for card only. And the staff girl was so dismissive and rude on it. And she was like talking to another staff person. She wasn't doing like, and I overheard the conversation. It wasn't a work-related one.
And you're like,
and yeah, but she just like, yeah, I was just kind of, that was one of the things that in Japan, like the staff was a bit more professional, I guess.
Attentive, maybe?
Not even like attentive, but being like professional and like work-minded, right? So that's another thing that I would think, because like a lot of like service jobs, I've had multiple times when the staff have just been rude when I haven't like done anything for them to be rude to me about.
Right. Yeah. Like we can understand like if there's like a crappy customer and you're kind of trying to cope, and so you're disassociating in some way or trying to remove yourself emotionally from being too hurt. But like when someone just like is unknowingly like you smile, you're pleasant, you speak to them in like a nice tone of voice, and they're just like dead in response. You're like, well, what the flip? Like, what did I do to deserve this?
It's like I can understand like having a bad day, sure, like I can understand, but like having like a heavy sigh and like
they have me
like
sigh
rolling your eye. Yeah. Like I was like, hey, I need to pay with cash. And she was like, okay, go over to the machine, I'll help you out.
Oh my God. Like, girl, like, okay.
Yeah, so it's just like, I don't know what I did, but I don't feel happy.
Yeah.
Like,
how dare they?
Dude. And it's
like
not...
I've worked service jobs and stuff too, and I've had people like come over and be like, hey, I need help with this, and like each time I was like, oh yeah, sure, I'll help you out, like even if I was having a bad day. But it's just like I wish that there was more professionalism to jobs, I think, as well. That would be another thing. But I want my arcades first, actually. I want my arcades.
Step 1 arcade. Step 2 better.
If I could choose like service, like customer service over arcades, I'm gonna go with arcades.
We'll take it.
Yeah.
I can think of 2 arcades in the city, but they're all kind of like half arcades, half bars now. It's kind of like a little kind of like nostalgia thing for like adults as opposed to children. So it's like the selection of the games they have is like not nearly as great as like a standard arcade. Yeah,
oh my God, I love rhythm games.
I think there was like 1 rhythm game machine in the rec room.
Yeah, which is just
yeah.
But part of it's like also like city design stuff too, because if it's not in a like easy accessible area for a whole bunch of people to get to, they're not going to go out to the arcade, right?
I mean, yeah, like also like North American city population density compared to Japan is very, very different.
That's true.
Yeah, well, even just compared to
or like
places that have successful arcades that have the rhythm game that I want to play, they just have a very different setup.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Harune wants the buttons, but also staff that can recognize that a button has been ping-ponged and show up.
Yes.
How about the Kai of the Nemurenais?
One thing I could think of, well, there's a couple things I would like to see. Especially for my city, I would very much like to see the subway be improved.
Yes. Yup.
Because like the subway I go to in my city, it's just like you go down, there's the track, there's the train, and there might be like a Tim Hortons.
Yeah.
And it's dark, it's dreary, it's oftentimes kind of damp.
Yeah.
And it smells not great. And it like the floor tiles looked like they used to be kind of an off-white gray, and now they're kind of like an off-yellow gray.
Oh no.
Compared to the Hong Kong subway system that I'm also used to. You go, it's like every subway station you walk into is like a mini mall.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's like restaurants, there's coffee shops, there's bookstores, there's like jewelry and watch stores. It's like there's a variety of things.
Yeah.
Almost like an airport. Everything's like pristine, it's white. And when you go to the tracks, they are completely blocked off by sliding glass doors.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you cannot accidentally drop anything on the track because it's all partitioned off. When the train gets here, stops, and opens its doors, then the sliding glass door is open to let you in.
Oh, that's genius.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Korea had it too. When I went to Korea, they had like the doors, you couldn't actually get onto the tracks or put anything onto the tracks unless there was a train blocking you.
Exactly. I think like Japan has some like where it's like a half like waist high partitions.
Yeah, some of them don't.
Some of them don't, but
in
Hong Kong. Like I don't remember exactly where it was. I think it was the station in Kowloon in Hong Kong. It was like just completely like a glass wall.
Wow.
And I'm just like, I actually like being in the subway station there. It's like, wow, I could spend time here.
Yeah.
I got off the train and I was like, oh, it's time for lunch. It's not like, oh, which restaurant should I go to? It's just like, oh, I could just eat at the subway station, and it's
right.
Yes, I love that. Yes, normalize eating and like casual, things to pass the time at a train station, and also just clean up. Like,
speaking of passing the time, though, like, another thing I really enjoy to do is I actually quite like reading. I do spend quite a bit of time reading. We here in North America, or at least my city, we have libraries where you can go in and borrow books for free and stuff. But that's all you can do. Like, until closing time, you can read, and then you can take a book away and keep reading. And we have net cafes, which are really just a big room, one big kind of like office space with a bunch of like computer desks and stuff that you could rent a PC for a couple hours.
Kai, I just like that you had to explain the concept of a library.
I want a manga cafe. I really want a manga. I want a place that I can go into, rent a private booth where I don't have to deal with anyone next to me, that has a computer in it with internet access, but also just a huge shelf of free manga I can read.
That does sound pretty dope.
Yeah.
Not free.
The ones that I like, the manga cafes that I went to actually had like a snack bar and then manga reading areas too. And I was like, when I went there, I was like, this just wouldn't work in North America because I could not trust people to like keep their hands clean.
Yeah. Or not steal.
The thing is that like having the stuff it's rough.
North American library books all just look so ratty and worn out.
It's sad. Like
but like there's the free drinks machine. They have like showers and like stuff in Manga Cafe. You could literally stay overnight for cheap.
Well, there are people that just like essentially live there, but like that's just like I couldn't. The thing is that there's respect for public spaces.
Yeah.
From people, because just like seeing how, like, for example, a bus stop.
Yeah.
Seeing how often bus stops in like North America are just broken, ruined, destroyed for no reason. Like people breaking the signs or scraping off what the name is or ruining the schedule and stuff. It's just like.
Yep.
That's unfortunate.
Right? So like that's one of the things that makes me apprehensive because we can't have nice things. Right?
SMH my head.
But yeah, I mean like it's just the perfect little setup for when I need to like be alone and recharge my social battery for a bit. Like I would gladly pay. I think it was like I could have stayed in the Manga Cafe overnight.
Yeah.
And it would have cost me maybe like $15.
Wow.
Yeah, like
I would love that.
It's cheap. You have access to food and drink. I would granted. It's not like the most. Thank you. It's not the healthiest of food and drink. It's like they'll have like snacks and cup ramen and like a soda fountain. But I mean like they have hygiene products you could buy for like $2. You could get like a bar of soap and like a toothbrush and etc. You could rent like pillows and blankets and stuff, and the booth is like it's just big enough for like a Japanese-sized individual to lie down and sleep in.
So not your size?
It was cramped. When I got in there, it was rather cramped. I had to pay extra for the VIP booth, which was like bigger, and by that it means like just enough for me.
Oh, good. Glad. I like that concept.
I would like it, but we
would have to reshape society here.
Yeah, like here we have libraries with like books that are just disrespected and like super ratty and so like to read to get a nice clean book, I just go to like bookstores now and just buy the book.
Yeah,
which is costlier than going to the library.
Absolutely. I mean, the library is free.
Yeah,
but I get it. It is sad because once you've experienced like responsible freedom internationally, it's really hard to come back to what we have and go, Yeah, this is why we can't have nice things. This wouldn't work as badly as we would want it. But yeah, I like all of your ideas, and I want all of it. We should all combine forces and demand that society change for our benefit.
We should turn North America into Japan too.
Call it New Japan. Forget about the US. Call it NJ.
Oh, also, onsen.
Not New Jersey.
Onsen. Oh god, onsen.
Onsen's not the fact that I want to, like, I don't want to, like, public bathhouse with other people in North America. All I want is the mini fridge with the glass bottles of coffee milk. I want them to develop a public bathhouse system in North America just so I can drink coffee milk.
I'm sure there's an easier way to do that.
No. This is the way.
This is the way.
He has spoken. Well, we'll get right on that. We'll let you know how that goes.
Coffee flavored milk is just a gift. It is chef's kiss. It's so good.
Well, I'm happy for you.
I'm so happy for. I do wish that we had like more like public. Well, not public, but like not like I like onsens and like the spas and access for things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But they're a bit harder to find around here. Like,
you know, I like the idea of a spa. Like, I think the closest we probably have is probably like a high-end gym membership that like includes some spa-like things, like access to a pool and like a sauna and showers and stuff like that. I like that, but I wish it were more accessible.
yeah, instead of it being like super duper expensive behind the thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly. But once again, that would take a lot of reform. Reform. I tripped on that word. Stop it! We're ending this podcast now. I'm turning this car around.
I'm like, I don't think I would dox myself by saying it, but there is a kind of spa type facility like near where I grew up.
Okay.
And growing up, I've always kind of been like, oh, like one day when I'm an adult, I can go in and just like enjoy spa things. And that was incredibly naive of me as a youngster. I'm like, we could go in, there's going to be like massage things and sauna things, and there's going to be like jacuzzi things, and there's going to be like all these weird oils you pour in the water for it to smell all like fruity. And then I entered high school and I came across the place again. It is very much just a soapland without being marketed as a soapland. Canada.
I forgot what that means.
It's a gentleman's health club.
Yes.
A gentleman's health club? Hang on, let me look it up.
It is very much a front.
What does soapland mean?
Oh gosh.
Definitions.net.
Oh.
Wow, Kai. I can't believe this is your last time being on the podcast.
No, this is not my fault. This is not my fault. I was trying to be subtle.
Why were you bringing it up in the first place?
Because it's tragic. I want a spa to go to.
Soapland, a Japanese bathhouse and brothel. Oh, wait, why specifically Japanese?
But yeah, it's very clearly foreign staff who recently immigrated here by means who, yeah. And it's just like, oh, so no jacuzzi.
I mean, maybe.
So no jacuzzi.
I mean, maybe. You could go find out if you wanted.
No. I could be a lot less subtle, but there literally was an illegal brothel running out of a house, like, down the street from my old house.
Mm-hmm. They get busted?
Oh yeah, it was crazy. It was like suddenly swarmed by police one day. We really liked that house too, because like whenever we drive by every Christmas, they had like so many Christmas trees up front. And we're like, wow, it's just like a weird, quirky, rich family. And then like one day it's like all the flashing lights were police cars. And we're like, oh, I wonder what happened. Apparently they were running an illegal casino and brothel in that house.
Oh, no.
I didn't know about the brothel part, but you did tell me about the casino.
What about but the Crimbus trees?
Yeah, I was like, oh no, Christmas house got raided.
They ruined Christmas.
It turns out the nice, like, big window they had facing the driveway that always, like, lit up, like, with Christmas lights and stuff. Inside was just, like, the main office of that building. And when they raided, there was just, like, machine guns and like grenades and stuff like stocked in that room looking out over the driveway.
Oh Lord.
And they had a shootout.
Jeez.
In Canada.
That ain't great.
No.
That ain't great, y'all. Nobody continue with the belief that everybody in Canada is super nice and nothing bad goes on in Canada. It's not true.
Nothing.
It was a whole thing.
Bad.
I just wanted a jacuzzi.
Well,
I just wanted jetty streamy bubble bath.
Well, that can be your adult dream as a homeowner, is to make sure that you find some way to get a jacuzzi or a hot tub. Actually, one of my friends, her and her new husband bought a house, and it was for a fairly cheap price because I don't know if it was specifically because of its location, but where it was like in the neighborhood / street, it was like right on the corner, and it did not have a driveway.
Oh no.
So yeah, super weird. So they could only park in the street. And the size of the house itself was quite small, but it came with a hot tub, an outdoor hot tub that the previous...
No driveway, but hot tub.
Yeah, no driveway, but hot tub that the previous owners left behind. And it was like,
I think that's a good trade. Like, I don't need a driveway. I'll take the hot tub.
Exactly. And it was like this, it was like beautifully, like it wasn't like just some cheapo hot tub. It was like, like remote set. You could like put oils in there. Like it was exactly what Kai was describing. Like you could put oils in there to make it smell nice. It came with so the hot tub is in the backyard, and then above it, to protect it from the elements, they had built a gazebo. So you could like chill out in this hot tub like in the middle of winter, like while it's snowing, and not be in any danger.
Yeah.
Or not inconvenienced by
weather.
And I've been in it once or twice. It's so nice. But I mean, sometimes you can get like hidden gems where you're saying goodbye to some modern conveniences like a driveway, but you're in exchange getting some very, very, very modern conveniences like a hot tub. So maybe you just have to like keep your eyes peeled. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm not gonna make it sound like it's a very normal find, but they exist. It is a thing.
Jeez,
that
Kai,
you can do.
why didn't you get your own place that has a hot tub?
Yeah.
I mean, you really should have thought of that before you like moved, right?
Listen, I'm not making the Twitch billions like the lady at House DM.
I don't have a hot tub.
I'm not the one being sponsored by hot tub companies left and right.
I don't have a hot tub sponsor. That's Harune.
I don't have a hot tub sponsor. I just have a friend with a hot tub.
If any hot tub company out there wants to sponsor GHK Radio,
well, we will definitely do GHK in a hot tub. But since we all live far away, we have
three separate hot tubs.
We need 3 separate hot tubs, and we will just all simultaneously be in the hot tubs and recording.
It'll be a whole new genre. Forget hot tub streams. It'll be hot tub podcast.
The whole recording's just gonna sound like bubbly water.
Yes. It'll be a podcast hot tub ASMR.
We'll just call it From the Tub.
Oh my god, yes. GHK From the Tub.
There you go, perfect.
Yes.
I think hot tub companies should definitely sponsor us. We're so cool.
Yes. Please and thank you. We have this idea now. It is copyrighted. You cannot take it from us.
You cannot take it. Yes, it's ours.
It's ours
it's
now.
Not yours. It's ours.
If you want, you have to ask us for permission.
And then if you give permission, you have to give us a cut.
That's right.
And it has to come with DM branded yuzu shoyu scent oil.
Yes.
You get a bathe in yuzu shoyu scent.
You get to smell like deliciousness.
I'll take it.
Yes.
That sounds good to me.
Yes.
But yeah, I guess that's any closing thoughts from you guys? Any announcements to make? Yeah.
Announcements.
Yeah.
Remember to change your water filter.
Yes. And don't wait until it's too late to start using your humidifier.
Yes.
Don't double proof bread in the fridge.
Oh my.
Yes, please check. Please check the appropriate proofing methods for your bread before you make it.
Tejepero?
There's no tejeperos here. You
Tejepero?
You nupty. And then I think my only announcement, I don't know if I announced this on any GHK radio episode yet, but I had the weirdest inflection just now. But I will be graduating/retiring from my VTuber activities as of March 20th.
No.
So we are going to try our best to wrap up the season with a full 10 episodes like all of our previous seasons, and then after that it's kind of in the hands of the G and the K of this group, whether they want to continue on their own, if they want to introduce a third member to keep the same number of people, or if we're just disbanding entirely. That'll be that's something for the future, not something that we have to worry about yet. But just to let you guys know. So yeah. Yep. But
no, I'm sad again. Good job.
Oh my god.
Nice work, Harune. Pat yourself on the back. You did it. His day's ruined.
Well, you know what? You added all of the G's at the ends of all those words. You ruined my day. So it's tit for tat, my boy.
Oh my goodness.
Hat.
Tit for tat.
You take your tat back.
I'm not giving you just the tit.
Well, thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of GHK Radio.
We'll see you guys next time, maybe.
Oh my god.
それでは皆さん、またね。バイバイ。
バイバイ。